there's always somebody that who you got there, Carlito.
Yep.
You got all
Finn
those guys
Balor.
right there. So somebody may come down at the end, let whoever's guarding the cage knock them down, let Dominik down or something. I mean, we don't know, so we just have to wait and play this out. Dominik is not in that cage for nothing.
Let's talk about Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. They're going to be taking place at Bad Blood in Atlanta for the WWE Women's World Championship, but Rhea added a stipulation. Dominik now, who's always getting involved in those matches, and it always seems to be in Liv's favor when he does, he now will be hanging 15 feet above the ring in a shark cage, which kind of takes me back, Teddy, to the old days. I remember the old days of seeing Jim Cornette and people in those shark cages. First of all, your thoughts on the Rhea Ripley stipulation, and then I'll ask you some questions about the old days. Go ahead.
Well, it's all brand new. This is great. And if you can go back and if you can remember this, talk about people in the shark cage. You remember I was in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Butch Reed and Ron were working with somebody, and they put me in the cage, and so that was pretty scary because back then those cages were weak and shabby. You know what I mean? So I can remember that pretty well, man. I can remember that. But like I said, we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out.
I like the throwback, and I don't know if this has been done. Maybe it has been done recently, and I just missed it. But it's the first time that I've seen the shark cage used in a match. Like I said, since the old days that I can recall, and there were so many great moments of seeing the guys. J.J. Dillon up in the cage, I want to say Jimmy Cornette was terrified of heights, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say that he was, and he was not crazy about it. Yeah, and he didn't like being up in that cage the entire time.
No, brother, he was. He fell off that scaffold and broke his arm or something, I think he did.
What do you think is going to happen in this match, though, Teddy? Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. You think Rhea Ripley is going to take that belt back from Liv Morgan?
Well, with Dominik being in the cage, that's pretty possible that it might happen. But then again, it might not happen because there's always somebody that, who you got there, Carlito.
Yep.
You got all
Finn
those
Balor.
guys right there. Yeah. So somebody may come down at the end, let whoever's guarding the cage knock them down, let Dominik down or something. I mean, we don't know. So we just have to wait and play this out. Dominik is not in that cage for nothing.
Let me ask you, when you were in the cage, was there any wild things that took place while you were in the cage? Did you escape it or anything like that? Because there were cases where some of the guys would get lowered because one of their teammates would go over to the area where the pulley was or whatever, and they would lower the cage. Anything like that happen?
I've seen that before. No, they never did lower me down to do anything. Only time I got lowered down is when the match was over and they were letting me out.
Wow.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.